I watched Kamala Harris's interview on Fox News, so you don't have to. And I'm going to tell you the one line that actually really matters and could move voters between now and the election. Okay, are you ready for it? Let me tuck my shirt in. Let's go. Okay, so Kamala Harris and Bret Baier, Fox News' Bret Baier, went back and forth for 25 or 30 total minutes, I think. It was fine. I don't think it was a disaster or it was amazing, but there is one line that really stood out to me from Harris. So let me find it. So Baier rightly asks Harris that he says, you were on The View and you were asked whether you would have done anything different from Joe Biden had you been president for the last 4 years. And she says, I can't think of anything I would have done differently, which is a terrible answer for a lot of reasons that I'll get into. Okay. Baier notes that and then says, do you agree? Is there anything you would be different? Here's what she says, and I'm quoting. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. Like every new president, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I represent a new generation of leadership. That's it. That's the quote that matters. Now, was it particularly specific? No, it wasn't specific at all. She didn't talk about any issues. I think she would have been smart to say, like on immigration, where I disagree with Joe Biden, and I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. But the most important thing is that she said, my presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. Now, let me explain. Joe Biden is not popular. You may have forgotten this amid the, you're not paying attention to him anymore because he's not running for president anymore, but he's not popular. 39, 38, 40% of people approve of the job he's doing. Not high. And it's been like that for 2 years. On immigration and the economy, the two most important issues to most voters in this election, a majority of people, a solid majority of people, do not approve of how he's handled it and trust Republicans to handle those issues more than Democrats. 65 to 70% of people think the country is off on the wrong track. Given those things, you cannot, repeat, cannot say, I wouldn't have done anything different than Joe Biden. He was amazing. My presidency would be exactly like his. No, you can do that when the president's at 75% approval and you're his vice president, but you definitely can't do it when the president's at 39% approval and you're his vice president. So that was always dumb and always a mistake by Harris, and she had to fix it, and she did. Will it work? So I go back and forth on this. Because I do think, like I said, out of everything that was said in that interview, this is the only thing that potentially could move votes. And I'll tell you first which votes it could move and whether or not I think it will work. So when you're thinking about who's undecided at this point, there's a lot of different chunks, but I think the largest chunk is Republican voters who do not like Trump. And Republican women voters who do not like Trump in particular. They do not want to vote for him. They think he is a bully. They think he is a misogynist. But they are Republicans and they like lower taxes, smaller government, rule of law at the border, et cetera, et cetera. These are people, if you need to think of it this way. So Nikki Haley dropped out of the presidential primaries in February at some point, or early March. But even in April and May, they still held primaries and her name was on the ballot. And even though she wasn't running and it was clear Donald Trump was going to be the nominee, she'd get 15%, 18%, 20% of the vote. These are the people, Nikki Haley voters, post Nikki Haley running for president, who Harris needs to win over. Now, she's not going to win over all of them. She needs 6 or 7% of those people in order to win. And that's why, by the way, she's doing Fox News. If you want, why is she doing Fox News? It's because those people watch Fox News. She's not trying to convince the hardcore Trump base who watches Fox News. They're not going to be with her. She's not trying to convince the people who watch MSNBC and don't understand why she's on Fox News because they're already for her. It's this small group of Republicans who hate or dislike Trump and don't want to vote for him, but are not sure they can go with the alternative. So the key for Harris to convince these people, and this is the will it work question, the key to whether Harris can convince these people is twofold. One, is she the scary character being drawn of her by Donald Trump and, by the way, Fox News? This leftist Marxist who's going to destroy the country and is an idiot and shouldn't be trusted with anything? Or is she, a relatively credible left of center politician who is mostly going to keep things generally on the right track and not do anything radical on the economy or immigration or anything else? So that's one. Two, and this is where we get into this quote, is she Joe Biden? So Donald Trump has effectively said, look, she had 4 years to fix this. She didn't fix it. She and Joe Biden, she thinks the same things as Joe Biden. You don't like Joe Biden. Why would you like her? She cannot let that argument go without a pushback. She will lose the election, particularly among these Republicans and Republican women who are undecided. She will lose the election if that is the conversation. If it is a second Biden term, people do not want that. People do not want that. And they will choose a second Trump term over a second Biden term, this smaller group of people, because they view Biden as ineffective. They view him as not grasping the challenges that the country faces both domestically and internationally. They do not want more Joe Biden. They want much less Joe Biden and Joe Biden policies. So that's why Harris said, I'm not Joe Biden, and my presidency will be different than Joe Biden's presidency. Now she has to, I think, spend the final 2.5 weeks of the campaign driving that message home every single appearance she can. And I think she has to put more meat on the bone, candidly. So, as I said, she didn't talk about anything specific in terms of policy. She said, like every new president, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. She didn't say what those fresh and new ideas are. But to me, the economy, immigration. This is a spot where Kamala Harris can differentiate from Biden. The American public does not think the policies Joe Biden put in place, some of the things he rescinded that Trump had put in place, they do not think Biden's approach on immigration has worked. Now, I know it's more complicated than that. Yes, Donald Trump helped kill a bipartisan immigration bill that would have been both comprehensive and tough on the border. And yes, he did it for political reasons. I know all those things. I'm just telling you, for an undecided voter who's looking at this, not paying that much close attention to politics, they look at it and they say, well, Biden was in here for 4 years and I don't like the situation at the border. I don't really want someone who's going to do the same thing. Kamala Harris needs to say specifically, what did Joe Biden do wrong and what would she do differently? To me, there's no real downside there. Are people who are Democratic base voters really going to say, I'm not voting for her anymore because she said something negative about Biden on immigration with Donald Trump as the Republican nominee? I mean, I guess there's some people maybe out there who would think that, but man, it can't be a lot of people. I don't think she's in danger of losing the Democratic base when Donald Trump is the other alternative. So to me, put more meat on the bone. What specifically do you think Biden did wrong? Or if you don't want to say that, what would you do drastically differently? What is a solution that he didn't do that you should do? I always suggest, say that you're going to name a Republican as the head of the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the border. She's already said she wants a Republican in the cabinet. Okay, well, say I want a Republican to serve on DHS because we need bipartisan solutions. We need to come together. We do not have all the answers, as the last 4 years has shown, on the border, and Republicans don't have all the answers either, but we're going to work together and figure this out. I mean, it's just an idea. It's actually from my friend Chuck Todd. That was his idea first. But why not try it, right? Like, why not just give it a shot and see if it works? So more meat on the bone, but distance from Biden. That's how she wins Republicans who don't like Trump and are looking for a reason not to vote for him. Do not be Joe Biden, Kamala Harris. That's how you get there. Okay, 4 things. Subscribe to this channel. Easy. Like this video. Easy. Double thumbs up. Oh yeah, I love that one. Comment on this video. Do it for the algorithm. And number 4, tell 10 friends. Tell 10 friends. I will be here tomorrow. That's Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Taking your questions, live stream, straight up, no chaser. Any question, no rules. It's like a no holds barred match in wrestling. Okay. Except I'm not going to get hit with a chair, I hope. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow.